Good guys. Still same. I you guys know I'm struggling here with my podcast setup. Uh um I'm gonna do my best to kind of get through this. We are still trying to correct the issue with the computer. We're having issues with the computer recognizing the microphone now. So we're not using our mixer or Rodecaster Pro. We're not using that. No sound effects or anything like that. We were able to get the Sony camera to work, and we're using the microphone on that camera. Hope you guys can hear me pretty good. It's not the normal sound, but I think you guys can hear me. And the StreamYard does work, so we're able to kind of get into that. So no sound effects or anything like that. No intro, outro. I tried to use some of the effects on StreamYard. It just didn't work. So just so you guys know, it's not going to be like the normal broadcast that you're used to. You're probably going to see a lot of lagging and all that stuff, but we do want to cover this ongoing story about the crash in Scottsdale, Arizona. There was a Learjet 35, which crashed into a G 2000, which I mistakenly identified as a Falcon jet, but those airplanes they look close. I'm gonna be real with you, they look close. But basically the Galaxy was bought out by Gulfstream, so it became a G200. So now it's the Gulfstream. And that was the aircraft that was also involved. That was the aircraft that was parked, apparently. So there's a lot of talk about this. Big news, of course, all over the world, especially in the light of what's been going on in aviation here within the past week or so. I know a lot of people are saying, hey, man, this is crazy. What's going on? It seems like the whole system is falling apart. It's not, guys. Commercial airlines are in one group, and then you have general aviation in another group. And we talked about this before. In general aviation, you can have little bitty airplanes, old warplanes, like classic airplanes, also all the way up to jets. There are people out there who own their own 737, their own Airbus. There are people out there that own their own 757. I hear that there are some guys out there in the Middle East that own their own 747 privately. Those aircraft would be considered general aviation. I know you guys like, well, what airplane would you land a 747? Like, well, you can land it at Van Nuys. We used to land all sorts of stuff out there. You name it, we've seen it. That B-52 landed at Van Nuys. I think it was at least 1 year, maybe 2 years in a row. So, yeah, it's a pain in the butt to move those airplanes around an airport like Van Nuys. Those airports aren't designed for big airplanes, but they can get in there. So we definitely have that. Again, I put this out with no notice. Normally I'm on at 5 o'clock Eastern time, but I wanted to get out here and let you guys know I am trying real hard to fix these issues. In the meantime, I'll be putting out videos from my living room. I have microphones that I use that makes the sound better when I'm in the living room or if I'm in the car. I do have more equipment here in the studio that I can use. I have the Rhodes wireless lapel mics, which are really good. We will work with this camera. I might do that. So next time you might see me with a Rhodes microphone clip, I might run that through the camera. It is what it is. Brother Carlos, was good, fam. Was good. Yeah, man, we're back up, but we're not 100%, brother. We're not 100%. I don't have my sound effects. My microphone, you could probably tell that the audio is a little different. Probably sounds real hollow, real tinny. We're not running it through the mixer, but we definitely want to get up and talk about it, man. So it's good to see you, bro. We're going to talk about this. So there's video out, guys. There's video out right now. We're gonna watch it here in a little bit of the Learjet and what actually happened at the airport. Again, this is just a small piece of information. The NTSB is going to gather all of the information. We don't have radio communications yet. I know they're out there. We'll probably have that available here in a couple of days. People are going to be putting that out. So we don't have that right now. So we don't know what was going on with the aircraft as far as like even with the black box. They'll be able to see what inputs were going on and all that. We don't know what the weather was like. In particular, the winds. We don't know what the winds were. But we do have video of the aircraft landing. It appears that the aircraft was just doing normal operations, landing at the airport, clear to land, number one on the runway. And once the airplane touched down, it appears that the landing gear failed. I think it was the left or right landing gear. I'm not sure which. We might be able to see it in the video, but the landing gear failed. Once that happened, the aircraft slid off of the runway, across taxiways, and into a parked jet. That's what it appears happened. That's what appeared to have happened here at Scottsdale. This is incredibly unfortunate. As you know, one person did not survive the crash. The others on board were reported injured. The numbers fluctuate from 4 injured up to 7 injured. We still don't know. Details are still sketchy. But here's the thing. This was incredibly unlucky. Incredibly unlucky. So you have an aircraft that lands, the landing gear collapses, slides off. I mean, they're just, at that point, that is probably the most vulnerable point for an airplane, especially a jet airplane. When aircraft are changing configuration, when they're going from flying to going to land, or when they're going from the ground and then going into the sky, that's when they're most vulnerable. It appears that this aircraft touches down thinking everything is fine. Landing gear goes out. And I mean, that's it. It's kind of like blowing a tire. Could you imagine blowing a tire and you're doing, 100 miles an hour or something like that? You just blow one of your tires. It's a terrible situation. And that's where we are. We got Brother Michael in the building as well. What's good, fam? Good to see you, brother. We are not 100%. We're working as best we can. But you could probably tell the audio is a little different. We don't have our mixer. We don't have our Rodecaster Pro. We do have our camera, and I'm working off of the microphone there, so I hope you guys can hear me. But I did want to cover this right away. This video is out there, and we can watch this video and kind of go from there. And I appreciate you, man. I appreciate that, bro. Again, I am a retired air traffic controller, over 20 years in the business, FAA. I also have time as an air traffic controller in the Army, different world, different type of ATC. I became an air traffic controller in 1990 in the United States Army. I was at Fort Rucker, Alabama. That's home of Army Aviation. And I served my time, got out of the Army, and 4 years later, I was hired by the FAA as an air traffic controller under the Veterans Relocation Act, VRA. And I spent, I had a wonderful career. But I'm here to tell you, these are the kind of things that a controller has to deal with, that people in the aviation world deal with all the time. It's not that every single day you have something this horrific occur. No, but something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. I got one story for you guys that I will share at some point during this video. We're not going to be here too long. We got Brother Carlos with the $2 super chat, man. Thank you so much, brother. I'm sorry I don't have my sound effects, but I owe you one, fam. I owe you one. And it was like Scottsdale, TAF, all red shows, special VFR prevailing. So the weather is showing special VFR. This is what the NTSB does, man. The NTSB, they're going to look at every single facet, every single aspect. I mean, visibility doesn't seem to be, at the time of the accident, visibility didn't seem to be bad. I'm looking at the video here on my second screen, and I can see the mountains out there. It looks very clear, definitely VFR. So let's do this. Let's run this video real quick. And remember, someone did not survive this accident, so definitely keep them in your thoughts and your prayers, and their family as well, as this is always a horrific thing to deal with. But watching this video, the aircraft was touching down, landing. And remember, this is right when it touched down. The aircraft is moving fast, guys. Like I said, if you blow a tire doing 100 miles an hour plus down the street, it's going to be tough to deal with, right? Especially if you start swerving and all that stuff. So, oh, it's like VFR, not special. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, now I'm with you. Yeah, it was VFR, not special VFR. I saw that S in there. So, yeah, we're on the same page, just VFR. Which you normally get that in the desert. Normally, it's good weather, it's good visibility. Even when the clouds roll in for the rare times that it rains and stuff like that. But it is what it is. So let's check out this video, guys. Again, it's pretty quick. It's only a minute. It's from two different camera angles. Obviously, they got this video from probably one of the fixed base operators at the airport, or maybe one of the businesses that have cameras facing the airport side of their business. A lot of businesses will get, they'll do business at the airport because they get a really good deal. And on the one side, it faces the street, and on the other side, it faces the airport. And they get a really good deal because the airports are loud, guys. There's a lot of noise. So if you're not really worried about the noise and you're looking for a place for your business, that's a lot of people will do that. They'll get offices at an airport because they get really good deals. Patrick Bet-David, Valuetainment down there in Florida, they did that. They recently moved their operations, or a big chunk of their operations, into a hangar at an airport. Not sure which airport. I think I know which one it is, but I'm not going to say. But yeah, I mean, you probably got a really good deal, and you get a lot of space and all that good stuff. So that's where I think this footage came from. Someone had their security camera pointed at the airport, and we're going to see two angles. So it's going to be two different cameras. So let's check this out. Attack now looks like a 200. And we're looking at, I'm not sure what runway configuration they have there. Uh-oh. So right there in the video, you can see that the aircraft did touch down. Appeared to be a normal arrival. Nothing crazy. You can't really hear anything crazy as far as the arrivals going. You saw one aircraft taxi by, just normal day at an airport. The aircraft touched down, and and then you can hear scraping noise. And it appeared that it appears that the airplane landing gear did in fact collapse, and the aircraft is skidding along the surface area of the runway. We're gonna hit the next video, and we'll see what happens next. I apologize, guys. I'm having difficulties. We can't run our normal operation, so I'm not going to be switching the camera angles as much because my StreamYard is telling me it doesn't like it when I do that. So let's continue. So here's the second camera angle. You can hear the sound. And there it is, sliding across the taxiway onto the tarmac, and it impacts the parked jet. So we're not going to run that back out of respect for the family of the person who did not survive that accident. I just wanted to show it the one time. But as you can see, just a normal day in air traffic. Beautiful day, clear blue and 22, tons of visibility, no clouds, no rain, no nothing, it seems. Doesn't even seem that busy. This occurred around 2:30, 2:50 in the afternoon out there in Arizona, according to the news reports. Probably a lull in their traffic. There's not a lot going on. Imagine you're up there, you're working the local frequency, which is the guy who's talking to the person who's talking to the airplanes in the sky. The ground controllers probably standing right next to him, just kind of checking it out. Not a lot going on. Got an airplane taxi now, got an airplane on final. There's probably some sort of shift change going on with the air traffic controllers. Probably got the early people going home, and you got the afternoon people coming in. Not a lot going on. You're not expecting anything crazy, just routine stuff. And all of a sudden, you see the airplane touch down, landing gear gives way, and it skids off the runway and into a parked aircraft. Yes, I have seen this before. As an air traffic controller, I have seen this before. I'll share a quick story with you guys. I was working Van Nuys. It was a different situation. It was uh, it was a normal day, but Van Nuys back then was very busy. A lot of airplanes flying around. There was I believe it was a Gulfstream 3 inbound to land, maybe a G4. Can't remember which one. Now this was back in the early 2000s, guys. The airplane was coming in, and we consider hot. It was coming in fast and coming in real steep. So it was like really high. It appeared to be high out the window. Came in really fast. We're all watching it. All the controllers are kind of worried about it. And the pilot is ultimately in command. The pilot is in control. What they want to do as far as landing is up to them. If they want to, not land and go around and try it again, they can choose to do so. Controllers can also say go around if we have reason to do that for safety reasons or something like that. An air traffic controller can initiate a go around. So that didn't happen. This airplane came in steep, came in hot. It touched down around the approach end of the airport, and then it bounced. Kind of bounced up in the air again. So Van Nuys has 8,000 feet of runway. So it touched down and it bounced. And then the pilot touches down again. Now they're more than halfway down the runway. So we're talking less than 4,000 feet to stop. It bounced a little bit, came down again, and then the nose slams down on the runway. There's smoke everywhere. Like there's smoke coming. Like it was just crazy. And then the aircraft slid off the left side of the airport of the runway, crossed a couple taxiways, and it hits. If memory serves, they hit two smaller airplanes. They hit a Cherokee and a Cessna. And then it also hits a medium-sized jet. I forget what type of jet it was. It hit that jet, and it continued on. It hit a pickup truck, and then it hit the barrier fence. Like it was the fence on the perimeter of the airport. It hit the fence, and it was the fence that finally stopped the jet. Just beyond the fence was a street. It was one of the major surface streets in San Fernando Valley in the Van Nuys area. So no one was hurt in that incident. You had the pilot, the co-pilot, and one passenger on board. They all exited the aircraft. No one was hurt. No one was hurt on the ground. There was a lot of damage done, of course, to the cars and to another airplane, correction. But that was a day. That was just a day at Van Nuys. We're just up in the tower working, and there was nothing that air traffic control could have done. The pilot was in command. The pilot could have decided to go around. It was plenty of news coverage on this in LA when it happened. I can't remember the year, but I'm pretty sure I can find it if I go looking for it. Maybe we'll do that one day. I'll go find footage from some of these stories that I'm telling, and I can show you the actual footage from the news coverage, not necessarily what happened, but you can see, how it looked when it was all over. This is just a day in the life in aviation. It is sad that someone lost their life. It's absolutely sad. That's something you don't see all the time, but it's not uncommon. So that's what we're looking at here. So here we go. We got Brother Casual Germ in it. Yeah, we're still not 100%, guys. We don't have our sound effects. As you can tell, the audio is off. I don't have my headphones on. I'm not using my mixers. I'm still trying to figure out the problems with the computer, but please just bear with us. Can't show a lot of the video because it's not interfacing properly and it might shut down the stream. So if everything just cuts out, guys, it is what it is, and we'll be back up and running as soon as we can. But good to see you, brother. We got Brother Michael, and Brother Michael was with me. What was it, Saturday night when I was trying to stream? This is when we had the initial issue. It was Saturday night. Brother Michael was with me, man. We were trying to stream, and everything just went crazy. Couldn't work anything. It was insane, and I've been working on it ever since. The past 72 hours, man, I've learned so much about PCs. I've learned more about PCs in the past 72 hours than I've known my entire life about computers. Just put it to you that way. I've been really working this problem. But good to see you, brother. Again, we don't have any, we don't have our sound effects, so I can't give you guys the love. Oh, but we are wearing the merchandise. Again, I told you we got a couple of prototypes here. The I Really Want to Know podcast t-shirt. We're beginning to work on our merchandise, guys. So we have 2 t-shirt prototypes. We're going to continue to work on designs until we, get to where we want it. We're going to have hoodies. We're going to have long sleeve shirts as well, like, lightweight long sleeve shirts. We're going to have hats, and we're going to have cups, right? We're going to have like those big cups that everyone carries around. And we'll probably have some coffee cups like this coffee cup here. This is from the Critical Drinkers, like one of my favorite YouTubers. Probably get some coffee cups like that down the road as well. So, hey, guys, you guys are my day ones. You guys have been here since I began. So this is what we're going to do. Once we get everything up and running and everything is right with the merchandise, if you guys will bless us and buy some of our merchandise for the day ones, and everyone who in here now is a day one. How do you know you're day one? You got a wrench behind your name. Casual Germ, I'll make sure I get that wrench in there for you as well. You're gonna the day ones. If you buy a shirt, we're gonna send you one for free as well. So you buy one, we're gonna give you one for free, and the one that we're gonna give you is gonna be a day one shirt. So whatever you buy, whatever we have, we'll send you a day one shirt, which is basically gonna be the regular shirt. But somewhere maybe on the sleeve is going to say day one, or maybe on the back it'll say day one. Somewhere on there, the design will have day one on there. It's probably going to say like DAY number one, or maybe it'll say D1, and I'll have a rocker like that airborne tab. It'll say day one. We're working on that. Or maybe it'll just have the tab that says day one and then the number one down there. We're going to figure it out. But whatever it's going to look like, whatever it's going to say, if you guys are gracious enough to purchase our merchandise, we're going to send you a free day one shirt with that. Again, we're just getting started. It's gonna be a little bit of time before we get this all squared away. But I will definitely keep you guys posted. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. But I wanted to put that out there. Brother Carlos, getting back to the story, Brother Carlos is saying pilot-induced oscillation and departure from controlled flight due to emergency mismanagement. There's a lot of stories out there, guys. The aviation world, like general aviation world, like we deal with this sort of stuff all the time. Emergencies occur all the time. A lot of controllers will err on the side of caution. If a pilot asks a question or says something, the tower will initiate the emergency, get all the equipment out there just in case. Why not? The fire guys, they tell us all the time, at least when I was in, they say, hey, man, don't hesitate to call us out, bro. In fact, the more time you can give us, the better. A lot of times controllers will wait to the last moment, like, hey, we don't want to bring those guys out until we know what's going on. And, and what happens in that case is if you tell the fire rescue guys that there's a problem, there's a potential problem, they're going to come out. And the more time they have to come out and get set up, the better for them, because the fire guys will tell us, like, hey, we have specialty guys. We need to, our guys might not be here. We might have to get people from other places. So if you think that there's a chance you might call us out, just call us out right away. Give us a call on the phone. Let us know what's going on. And I've seen this personally, bro. I've seen it when you had to scramble the fire guys at the last second versus telling the fire guys you have an issue inbound that's 30 minutes away. They love that call. Hey, he's 30 minutes away. They're like, okay, fine. What's going on? This is what we have. This is the information we have. This is what type of aircraft it is. This is how much fuel is on board. This is how many people they have on board. And the fire department, the crash guys, can get everything set. And whenever that happens and they get all that time, and they always call us up when it's over and say, hey, man, that's perfect. Thank you so much for giving us that heads up. Back in the day, a lot of controllers were like, we don't want to bother the crash guys. And they wouldn't bring them out. They wouldn't get this information up front. But as time went on, controllers would change the way that they do business. It's like, hey, man, we want to get crash rescue as much time as they need, as much time as possible for them to set up and do what they have to do to come out and save lives is what they do. So with all that said, right, that's a lot that I just said there. That's what air traffic controllers do, man. That's part of the game. That's part of the game. It's like, hey, when do we call crash? Hey, call them on the phone, let them know what's going on if we got enough time. Or you can, pull what's called the crash phone. It's an emergency phone. As soon as you pick it up, they come out. There's certain airports, they have buttons. You push a button. As soon as you push the button, the doors, you open the doors on the barn and they come out. So that's just, again, this is just another day on the job. Unfortunately, this could affect staffing at Scottsdale Airport. Whoever was working, whoever witnessed this, they might have a hard time processing this, and they're probably going to want some time off. It only makes sense. They do need to take some time off. So you figure that there was probably at least three people. You figure there was a local controller, there was a ground controller, there was probably a flight data person up there or something like that, maybe a supervisor up there or a controller in charge. So you figure maybe probably anywhere between 3 to 5 people were in the tower who witnessed this happen. That's a lot to process. And some people, don't want to come back to work right away. They want to get themselves right. So something like this will definitely could affect the staffing at Scottsdale. I know that the FAA have people you can talk to. The union, NACA, has an excellent program where they get you out there. You can talk to folks. You can talk to other controllers. There are groups out there for people who have trouble with this sort of thing. They have this thing called the EAP program. I believe it's called EAP, where you can call this 1-800 number, and they will put you in touch with a crisis management person straight away, and then kind of work you through that situation, through those initial moments. And then they allow you to go out and seek more counseling if you want. And you get to pick from like a book full of counselors. I worked with a counselor out of Beverly Hills, California, and she was amazing. And she helped me get through some really tough situations I had to deal with as an air traffic controller. It was all free of cost. Got plenty of time off to handle this. It was amazing. So air traffic control is not something you can just leave at work. It's going to stay with you, especially when you see stuff like this. So it is what it is. And I know a lot of people are saying, man, this is crazy. It seems like the sky's falling. It's not. This is what air traffic controllers dealt with on a daily basis when I was in the business, and it's always going to be this way. I mean, just think about all the car accidents that happen. Think about the big accidents when they got a truck that jackknifes or cars flip over and all that kind of stuff. People like, have you ever seen an airplane flip over? Yes, I have. I'll save that story for you. No one got hurt, but I saw an airplane just kind of nose up and right there on the ground. No one got hurt, and it wasn't that much damage to the airplane. It was an old airplane. It was a biplane. It was a wing walker airplane. It was an airplane where people actually, while it's flying, they would get up and walk around on the wings. Those things were durable, bro. But there's a funny story on what happened in the tower, and I'll tell you guys about that when that went down. I'm going to tell you guys that story probably later on in the week when we get our system back up and running good, because I want to make sure you hear the complete story. It's ATC humor for sure. So I just wanted to throw that video up there so you guys can see it. We played it already at the beginning. It's from 2 camera angles, and it does appear that the landing gear did collapse on the Learjet. It slid off the runway and into a parked jet. Like I said, man, these things do happen, bro. These things do happen. Will staffing be an issue? Who knows? We don't know what their staffing numbers are. The first thing not the first thing, but the NTSB is going to ask about staffing. They have the staffing numbers. They're going to ask who was working what position and what they were doing exactly, how many people were working, how many people were on break. They're going to ask all these kind of questions. Was there a supervisor in the tower? If not, why? Where was the supervisor? All that stuff is going to come out. They'll see if ATC had anything to do with this. It doesn't seem to me that the crew was aware that they had a potential issue with their landing gear. Inside the airplane, if the airplane believes there's something wrong with the landing gear, there's an indicator for that, and the crew can see that, because you can't see the bottom of the plane, so you can't see if the gear is down or not. And if the pilots get a unsafe gear indicator, they will say something to the tower right away. And normally what they do is they're going to have the tower look at it because they want to make sure the gear's down. So how do they do that? They'll do what we call a low approach. They'll fly over the runway right in front of the tower over the runway, and we're counting landing gear. Like, okay, or there's 3 sets of gear down there. It's like you got the landing gear in the nose, and you got the 2 mains under each wing. So controllers are going to look at that. Is the landing gear down and in place? If it looks that way, we get our glasses like, okay, it appears that your landing gear is down. It appears that your landing gear is down and in place. When it's down and not in place, you can tell. You'll have like, this landing gear is down and this perfectly like that. This one's perfectly like that. Then the one in the front may be halfway down, right? So you got the airplane flying by and the gear is kind of like this, not down like that, but it's kind of like that. You can see it. Like, oh, it appears your nose gear is not fully extended. It appears your left main is not locked in place. It's all sorts of stuff. And as air traffic controllers, we tell the pilots what we see. Hey, this is what we see. We tell the pilots and we give them that information, and then the pilots decide what they want to do. Of course, they're going to land, but maybe they're going to land at a different airport. Maybe the airplane doesn't live there. Maybe the airplane lives at another airport, and they're like, look, we got enough fuel. We're going to take the airplane back home. So when we do land this thing and it scrapes the ground, at least we're home with our mechanics and everything. We can, don't have to worry about how we're going to get this airplane shipped from this place to that place. So this man, it's all sorts of stuff. I've seen, man, just a little bit of everything. Casual Germs saying something like that happened in Chicago at Midway Airport. Landing strip was covered in black ice, and the plane crashed through the wall of the airport and almost stopped on the street with car traffic. Yeah, airports, they have to deal with snow. Absolutely, you see that. Icing in the sky is critical, but icing on a runway, bro, just like cars, you can hydroplane. Like really wet runways and icy runways present issues. I've been in towers where you had like heavy rain, like extreme rain, and you might get standing water on a runway like that much water. Airplanes hydroplane like cars. And when they're landing and when they're trying to take off, it's the most critical phases of flight. I've seen airplanes doing hook slides, man. I've seen airplanes spin all the way around on a runway. Again, most of the time when you see these things, people walk away without incident most of the time. But this is just how it is, guys. Air traffic control, this is what you see as a controller, and it can be very tough. And pilots, oh, man, I don't know. Pilots, they go through these things, man. They'll have an incident, and some of these pilots, man, they'll be flying a couple days later. I've seen dudes come in on one airplane, on their jet that they work on, and something happens on the jet, and then they jump in their regular airplane and go flying same day. They're like, oh, man, it's good. I mean, I guess it's the same as driving. You just imagine you're out there driving around and you hit something, but you're fine. You'll get into another car and drive around. You get into your rental car and drive around, even though your main car is totaled or something. Same thing with aviation, guys. Same thing. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. Like if the stream cuts off, I think we're okay. I just wanted to, get in at least 30 minutes. Looks like we'll be finished around 45-minute mark. If we pretty much got through this show, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Thank you. I'm glad you like the merch, man. Thank you. We're going to continue to do that. I'm also YouTube is really pushing the memberships. So I'm going to start a YouTube membership on the channel. Probably do like $1 to be a member. I think it's monthly $1 memberships. And then once we get the merchandise and all that, maybe we'll bump it up to a $5 level and give you extra behind the scene footage or whatever. I'll come up with something, but YouTube wants people to push the membership thing. So I'm gonna start pushing the memberships as well. Appreciate you guys digging the merch. Shout out to Queen Naya. She made this out. That's Jay Swans' wife. It's the only one of the few women I call Queen because she really is. She is the best. I would hit my Don DeMarco button right now, but I can't because we're not working our normal operation. This cool color. That's cool. Man, I appreciate it, man. Brother Michael, I appreciate you, man. I believe you, man. So you cop one of these, bro. When we get it going, you cop one of these. We definitely sending you a day one t-shirt along with that. If not a day one hat, we got to figure out the hats too. That's what we're working on as well. So just give us a little time. We're going to get this merchandise thing squared away. And we appreciate the love, man. We got this one, and then I got a dark blue one with a smaller logo. I was wearing it in the earlier videos today. Watch one of the two videos I posted today. You'll see the other one I was wearing then. Definitely going to get the hoodies made, bro. Definitely going to get the hoodies. One shirt to wear, one shirt to preserve. That's it, man. Day one, guys. I hope y'all rock the day one stuff, man, because I really appreciate you guys rocking out with me from the very, very beginning. And that's something that you can, if we ever do it in real life event, you show up, you got on day one merch, everybody's going to be like, man, where'd you get that? You ain't going to be able to get it. You ain't going to be able to get it. Once we do that initial day one push, you ain't going to be able to get it. Only y'all going to have it. And that's the thought behind that. So, Appreciate y'all, man. Just kind of going through this. We're gonna go through the chats and then I'm gonna shut this down. The most demanding security job I've ever did was at the airport. They do not play games. That's a fact, bro. Like we look at everything, man. And not most, but a lot of people in the aviation world, man, a lot of us were military. So we take it to that level, man. Like we really pay attention to what's going on. I got a story for you guys about that, about security. Remember once a guy was managed to get on the airport and was doing some crazy stuff with his truck, man. I'm gonna tell you guys that story as well. We're gonna focus on this aviation thing. We're gonna have some fun with it, man. I got so many stories to tell you. We got Brother Marcus, my favorite devil dog, man. I don't have my sound effects, but I would definitely give you the bump up up bum. Shout out to you, devil dog, bro. We're just gonna show the rest of the chats, and that's it. Appreciate you guys rocking out with me, man. I'm gonna continue to work the problem. We're gonna get back to normal. I'm going to try to get the Thursday podcast running with our normal thing. Just hang in there with me. And if I can't get the normal podcast, we'll do something like this. We'll figure it out. Appreciate you guys rocking out with me, man. Thank y'all so much. Again, thoughts and prayers go out to those, to the family that lost a loved one today in this horrible accident. But it was an accident, guys. It just appears that this was a mechanical issue on the aircraft. Looks like maybe the landing gear gave way and the airplane slid, the Learjet slid off the runway across some taxiways and into a parked aircraft. That's what we seem to be looking at here, guys. The NTSB and local fire department will be putting out more information as it becomes available. This is how it works, guys. This is why air traffic control is such a stressful gig. But I ain't gonna lie to you, man, it was very rewarding. I do not regret a single day. I'm so glad I made that decision to become an air traffic controller, and I'm so grateful that I was able to work in the FAA at one of the busiest general aviation airports in history, Van Nuys. And if you don't believe me, bro, look it up. There's a movie, a documentary about the Van Nuys Airport. It's called 16R, right? So the number 1, the number 6, right? That's 16, and then right next to it, capital R, which stands for right, 16 right. That's the name of the movie, 16 right. It's a documentary. Check it out. Brian Terwilliger did it. It's a great documentary about aviation, general aviation, and about an airport history, the Van Nuys Airport. You will be surprised at the things that happened in and around that airport going back to the 1930s, I believe it was. Maybe even, going back to the beginning of flight, guys. So check out that documentary. You might see somebody in there you recognize. All right, so that's it. That's all I got for you guys tonight. Thanks for rocking out with me. I appreciate you. And I'm going to work out this issue so we can get back to normal, so we can have our normal thing and start bringing people up and doing all that good stuff, guys. So I'll talk to y'all soon. I'm DL Saint. This is That Really Want to Know podcast. Peace.